Hello and welcome to one of Force 13's many live streams. We're talking tropics, of course, as we always do. And in particular, we're talking about two typhoon threats which are occurring in the West Pacific. Typhoons Goni and Atsani. We're joined by several people, as we always are, this evening. Craig, you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Craig. You might want to turn yourself up a bit there. You're sounding a bit quiet.
I'll do it.
Just a wee bit.
A wee bit, right.
We'll come back to you. Daniel, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
And John, hello. John's currently having dinner or something.
I'm just finishing up here. Give me a minute.
Yes, John will be with us in just a moment. And this is the new look Force 13 live streams, which is running on different software than what we're used to. So things might be a little bit hectic, but in the long run, I think it's going to be better, hopefully, anyway. And also, I know for quite a few people it's easier to converse via Skype, so if you do want to get involved, all you have to do is add me on Skype, add Fool13, that's my name on there, FOOL13, to add me on Skype, and you can join the conversation at any time, as long as we are live. Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm good. Tired.
Yes. Well, and Craig, how are you?
Yeah,
Craig
pretty
here?
well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm just sorting out that audio.
Alright, well, let's get straight onto it then. This is what we're looking at right now. The breaking news is that Goni is expected to become a super typhoon in the next 48 hours, according to JTWC. That wasn't the case until now. That is breaking. And this is what we're looking at right now, the latest JTWC map on Atsani there, and there's Goni as well. Oh, that's Atsani actually, isn't it, on the left-hand side? We need to change that. But yes, we need to get the floaters up in a moment. Where are they? If we just scroll back and take a look at all of the storms that we have active right now. Typhoon Atsani with winds of 75 miles an hour and a pressure of 974 millibars. Typhoon Goni, 90 miles an hour, 963 millibars, looking good. You can see that eye there, looking pretty decent. And Tropical Depression 11E, looking pretty much the polar opposite, not looking decent at all, is it, at the moment? We've also got Invest 96L in the Atlantic now. That's an interesting one as well. 60% in the next 5 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. 50% in the next 48 hours.
Atlantic activity.
Who is that?
Hey.
Hello,
John.
John. We're looking at your screen there, aren't we?
No, it's mine.
Is it yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting all confused.
No, mine.
Oh boy. What a neat.
This is 96L.
So talk us through this.
Well, this was actually a pretty strange invest. It's come off the coast of Africa. That was a surprising one, to be honest. And it came out of no. Oh, goodness me, man. No. Useless. As always, useless. But it's one that was not expected, as the models were saying, absolutely nothing. And there you go. I'll see what happens in the next 24 hours or so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and if it does form, I really don't think it has a long future. It's just what I think. I just don't think it'll last very long.
What, 96L or 11E?
Sorry?
Yeah, 96L.
Yes. Well, 11E as well. Another one that won't last very long.
I think we can face it. 90. That 11E has dissipated because there's nothing
Daniel,
left.
what do you think?
I've got a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do hurricanes hit Africa, or do they just farm off the coast of it?
Very rare for a tropical storm to strike Africa, but it has happened before. Can't remember when or what, but it has happened.
Yeah.
Was it Tropical Storm Barrels 1 year? Was it one of those Tropical Storm Barrels?
I've no idea. I can't remember.
It was one of them from Just a Storm.
Yeah.
I heard you mention before one hitting Spain. Which one was that?
Well, what was left of Vince struck sort of Spain. Was it Spain or Portugal?
Portugal,
it
it's
was
called
both.
depression.
It did
it was
track
both.
over Spain though, I think, even if it didn't make landfall there.
All right.
There's Atsani looking fairly decent. Can certainly see an eye on that.
It's not supposed to become a super typhoon.
Yeah. Well, that's what it says now.
I
mean, the
think
JTWC were saying it would become a super typhoon, but at the latest update, they've backed away from that and have instead said that Goni will get there and will sustain it for quite a while. The HWRF model, I've got to show you that a little bit later on. That's really interesting to show you what it predicts. Quite a storm out of Goni, and we'll look at that later on.
Well,
Any questions and comments for us, by the way, please send them in. Just put it on the YouTube page, and we'll get back to you.
I don't think I think the JTWC have got this called wrong. I think it's still continue to intensify because that's definitely an eye wall.
You think what?
I think the JTWC has got it wrong by saying it's not going to become a super typhoon.
Martinez Julian says the Atlantic is finally awake, and Delta kinda hit Morocco in 2005.
I'll check on that. Tropical storm Delta, huh?
Yes, indeed. Looking back at my screen now, here's a little problem because you guys can't see my screen, but if you go on the page that I'm showing everyone, you'll be able to see all the things that I'm cycling through. I'll actually just post it on the Skype chat just to show you where it is. I'm looking at the water vapor imagery at the moment in the Western Pacific, where you can see Goni and Atsani side by side almost. They're pretty close together, but that's not going to continue for so long, we believe. And you can also see the Atlantic water vapor imagery there as well, showing Invest 96L further east, not too far from the Cape Verde Islands, located to the southwest of those islands. A little area of moisture to the northeast of Hispaniola as well, though I doubt that'll ever become anything, and some thunderstorms dotted around the northern half of the Gulf of Mexico. These are the storm totals for 2015 so far, just to let you know. 53 tropical storms so far, 29 hurricanes, 18 majors, and 7 Category 5s, compared to the record totals: 101, 60, 32, and 12. I wonder if any of those records will get beat this year. Majors and Cat 5s, possibly.
Yeah.
Delta affected Morocco as an extratropical system.
Or a remnant low, perhaps.
No, it was extratropical. Well, 96L is exciting.
Is, yes.
It woke you up.
Will it wake Daniel up, though? That's the question.
Definitely 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning, I was looking at a Skype, even though I said I was going to sleep. I was looking at Skype, and I saw in bright letters from Craig, 96L.
Yes.
In bright bold letters. Born, yes. And a 96L on satellite looks pretty good, to be honest. It probably is the best tropical wave I've seen this year. It's currently at 30 miles an hour.
It's the one with the most chance. I can't remember seeing a storm that had a 60% chance in the next 5 days in that area this year.
That's very, very humbling to me. Finally getting something.
Local time here in the UK, it's 10:10, just to let you know. 9:10 PM UTC, the universal clock, which is what all the organisations go by usually. It's quite difficult to keep all this in check with all the time zone differences and all that, but we'll try and not confuse you.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if Ram's back up and running.
If you're watching us live, just send in a message if you have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like us to show, and we'll honour that. As a matter of fact, oh, there's the floater imagery, but I wanted to take a look at the satellite, the sea surface temperatures. First of all, this is what the SSTs look like. So, starting in the west here, ironically in the eastern Pacific, that's apparently far west. Warm waters extending over Hawaii and beyond. Very warm conditions, looking good, except for that tropical depression 11E, where water temperatures are really going to be dropping off a cliff very soon if they haven't started to do so already. So it's going to be a problem for that storm. As for 96L, it's looking pretty good. Temperatures around 28 degrees around the storm. Nice, very nice. And that will continue. It's a sort of a corridor here, extending from the southern tip of the Cape Verde Islands, going sort of west-southwest, and then the other half of the bridge going to the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands. The Caribbean fairly warm, but not particularly. The Gulf is where all the warmest waters of the Atlantic are at this time. Looking at the North Indian Ocean, warm waters for most of it, except the western half of the Arabian Sea, and that's been the case pretty much since that cyclone went through Oman. Was it Ashobar? Pretty much since then, the temperatures have been really cold, for tropical standards at least. Looking at the West Pacific, looking good as always, 26 to 30 degrees or higher in the South China Sea and the Philippine Sea. The Gulf of Tonkin is going to be its hot spot at this time, with temperatures of 32 degrees or more. And look at the area just off the coast of Iran, very warm waters, 35 degrees plus in that area, which is really warm for sea surface temperatures. John?
Oh, yes. I'm just wondering, what does the wind shear sort of look like for the Atlantic right now?
Yeah, let's take a look at the wind shear map.
I'll quickly get that
We're
up.
beginning at the West Pacific, but we'll round up to the Atlantic soon enough. The West Pacific map looks like this. You can see the two typhoons there. Very significant. They may be very soon. Goni has some high amounts of shear to its immediate north, but it's probably going to pass to the south of that. And look around the Philippine Sea area. Look how low it is around here. Very low amounts of wind shear extending to this little tongue of higher amounts near Taiwan. Where Atsani's going, again, it's looking pretty good there too. Very low amounts of wind shear to the north and northwest, which is where the storm's going. Let's go on to the Atlantic then. And this is going to be interesting for John in particular. They haven't put up the invest yet, but it's going to be somewhere around here. 10 degrees north, was it 30 degrees west, somewhere around there. So right near the bottom right of your image is where the storm is right now, and it's in a fairly low amount of wind shear, but there is a high amount to the northwest, John.
Yeah, it's taking a minute to catch up on the YouTube thing.
Sorry about that.
I'll pull up my own wind shear graphic, give me a minute.
But it is high to the northwest of the storm. Also high in the Caribbean as well, high amounts of wind shear there. A low area just off the northeast and just at the northeast of the Bahamas, and again low amounts in the central part of the Gulf of Mexico, though around the edges pretty high, particularly over Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama and Georgia. Craig's typing apparently.
Yep.
So yes, this is also the Force 13 tracking map. I need to plug this every time because it's ours. Which our team member Jason made. Very good work from him. I couldn't do it. Showing all the storms as they are around the world. Goni, of course, the furthest west storm in the West Pacific, down at Atsani further east. Both Category 1 typhoons. You can visit this website, force-13.com/tracker, to stay in the loop when we are off air. Excellent. Martinez says, I'm sensing a season with no hurricanes. Will we see a season like 2013 almost had?
Oh, Devin was talking about this in the chat room this morning.
Buzzkill.
Devin was like, Devin wants a season of no hurricanes. It's Devin. He wants an abnormal season.
Yeah, abnormal on the quiet end.
Yeah, I like my abnormal season. Whoa! I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to edit that out.
Continue.
Um, I prefer my normal seasons in the upper ranges of activity, not in the lower ranges.
Yes, you seem a kind of an active guy, John.
Devin's like,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what it would be like if he was on call right now, and just
But,
me
but
and him.
well, realistically, John, what do you think will happen? Not what you want to happen, but what you think.
Well, realistically, okay, let's get realistic in this place here. Realistically, I'm thinking the Atlantic's. It's for sure a below average season. I mean, there's El Nino, tons of wind shear. This is August. We're halfway through August. We haven't had a August system yet,
Yeah.
and usually things ramp up in August. And 96L is kind of a little bit late, but Jason might, or one of you guys might say different. I mean, I'm not a complete expert in the Atlantic, but
But you live there, John.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things I'd like to know about the Atlantic, but I know average activity in Atlantic is like 12 named storms, 6 to 9 hurricanes, 2 to 3 major. So I'm expecting a season below that.
Okay.
But I don't know. September hasn't happened yet, so who knows?
Yeah, I do think it's going to end up that way. We might see the odd strong hurricane, though. I can't rule that out, certainly, because...
Gonzalo.
Sorry?
Gonzalo. Remember last year, Gonzalo was a Category 4 in extreme heat.
Yes. Just because, just based on climatology more than anything is what I'm basing it off. I think that we'll get a few storms, but we might get the odd strong one, and it will be an odd one. But we could possibly... I was just looking at the 1992 season. I was animating it recently, and it was a quiet season, but most of the storms were hurricanes, apart from one, I think.
Ooh. Who knows? Well, I might just add this, but who knows?
I mean, having
Maybe
said
Atlantic.
that, 97, I can't remember what happened in that year, so it can't have been that active. I mean,
So
there
it
weren't
could be
many
one of
storms,
these.
I mean, hurricanes. But 2009, I remember, of course, there were only 2 real hurricanes of that year, unless you want to count Ida as well, which would make 3. I'm just looking at the floater imagery of Goni right now. It's really starting to take shape,
So it's
isn't it?
gonna be one of those years, right? One of those years where we're not gonna get much activity in the beginning, and then we get this surprise pop-up Category 3 or 4 hurricane mid-season.
Yeah, quite possibly. But it's certainly the year of the West Pacific, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a close-up of the imagery of Goni, which I'm really pleased about. Look at that. The eye really starting to take shape. I wonder whether we've got first visibles from the Himawari satellite yet for this area. Just going to reload the page and see what we can see. There you can see both storms. Yeah, visible imagery just about arriving over Goni. And you can see both their eyes, I think. I'm try and zoom in on this.
Well, you need to wait until 22:32 for the next update on Goni. But the eye wall is there. The eye is there.
Are you talking about the data on that?
Yeah. Well, wait, you're gonna have to wait until 23:01.
Nathan, it's the one thing that is not the best thing about this format is I can't see what's on your screen.
Yeah, I'm going to think of a remedy for that in future shows. But
right.
Basically what we're looking at right now is the 2 storms. Daylight just about reaching Goni. Daylight is well over Atsani. They're both looking good. They're both on their way. Atsani's certainly the bigger system, and that's likely to be the case for some time. I mean, for the whole of its life, probably it will be the largest system. That's certainly what the models are suggesting. I'm just going to try and do a screen share right now for your benefit, John. Just so that they can see what I'm doing. Only people on the video, on the YouTube video, can see what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my...
Hey, we learn as we go, right?
Sorry?
We learn as we go.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Here it is. Can you see that?
That's loading.
So this is the latest Himawari image. We'll be keeping you up to date with more imagery from there as time goes by.
You see it?
Sorry?
See it?
Yeah, you seeing it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Well, what do you think of that? Looking good?
Yeah, they're both looking good.
I wonder whether it might be a little bit dry on the northwestern side of Atsani there. But apart from that, everything's looking good with those storms. Well, hey, let's get on to the models, shall we?
Favorite part of the show.
favorite part. Let's see if we've got anything from the GFS. Recently, they've not been running for very long. Usually they're only partial runs. Oh, there they are again, only for 36 hours. Forecasting significant intensification from both storms, possibly 2 super typhoons on the horizon. Let's take a look at the CMC.
To be honest, Nathan, can I quickly just say this?
Not found.
No.
Yes.
Can I quickly just say this, right? I'm thinking what you possibly said when these storms formed, that you could possibly see 2 Cat 5 typhoons. I could possibly see one coming out of Goni because you know how decent it's looking, how it's getting its act together. I could possibly see maybe 160 low end Cat 5, possibly 157.
Well, let me just show you what the HWRF model is showing, because this is a really interesting one. It's focusing on Goni here, and you can see as time goes by the storm significantly intensifying. Look at the beautiful shape on that. Clearly you can see the eye there. And you can see it peaking at 138 knots. That's 10 minutes sustained winds. So 1 minute sustained winds in miles an hour, that translates to around, what would that be, 185 miles an hour, I'd say. So very strong category 5. And you can see Atsani over there looking rather strong as well. And look how long it maintains this intensity for. This is around 180 miles an hour. It sustains for a good 2 or 3 days before gradually weakening. And I think it finally starts to lose its shape a little bit by this point, which is 84 hours out, nearly 4 days. And then gradual weakening, but still a strong category 5. 175 miles an hour at least at this point, where it's pretty much in between the Philippines and Taiwan. Incredible if that was to happen, which it probably won't, but just in case, you can't prepare too much for the worst. Still 145 miles an hour at its closest approach to southern Taiwan, and then it just begins to shrink by the looks of things and moves off towards the northwest, but still a Cat 4 on this, well, probably the high-end Cat 3 at this last image here, just over 5 days out. What do you guys think? Anything?
No, I just my camera's frozen on the live stream, Jason said.
Oh, I see.
And Nathan, Jason told you to hide the Skype window on the live stream because it might help that out.
It might help what?
Jason said to hide the Skype window on the live stream.
We would like to see you, though. Daniel, hello.
Hello. I haven't really got much to add, but I haven't.
Your quality doesn't sound that great. Here's Atsani, by the way, and look how much broader this storm is. And I think it reaches just briefly Category 5 status somewhere around here. And then it moves off towards the northwest, and then gradually weakens probably and might brush Japan, but at this point a Cat 3 or possibly a weak Cat 4 there, I'm not sure, but still a very strong storm at that point. And look how broad it is compared to Goni on that last image.
Jason said don't do it, it's back. Cam's working now.
Oh, I see what it means. Anyway, yes, so any comments on that, John?
On Atsani, yeah, it could be a very powerful system, probably briefly peaking as a Category 5, but as it gradually weakens, it'll probably affect the United States as a probable.
You're thinking ahead, aren't you?
Yeah, but brushing Japan, I'm not sure what Asani's wind field is. So if I knew Atsani's wind field, I might be able to estimate whether it would affect Japan or not. But Atsani's wind field probably is going to stay offshore Japan, most likely.
Yeah, and even that might maybe more than 5 days out. I don't think we've actually shown up close what the forecasts are yet, but we might have done. I can't remember now. But let's take another look if we have. This is the JTWC imagery for Goni, as you can see. Likely to become a significant typhoon. JTWC so far predicting a high-end Category 4 super typhoon, winds of 150 miles an hour, and then gradual weakening as it approaches Taiwan. You see a little turn at the end of that forecast track there on a JTWC. They seem pretty convinced that the storm could affect Taiwan and indeed make a landfall. Or I do wonder as well, because one or two models I saw earlier were hinting at this too, that the storm may well turn towards the north before reaching Taiwan. So who knows?
Could it be in a Fujiwara interaction with
Well, I think
storm?
that's going to come first more than anything. I think what may end up happening is that once Atsani moves off towards the northwest and moves away, and then off towards the northeast past Japan, Goni will then feel more encouraged, so to speak, to come out towards the northeastern recurve also. That's
Could Goni affect Japan with this curve?
quite possibly. Here's Atsani's forecast track as well. If it would affect Japan, it will be beyond about a week, I'd say. But here's Atsani and JTWC predicting a fairly straight line forecast on the next few days there, peaking as a 145 miles an hour Category 4 storm as it heads towards the northwest and possibly affecting the Japanese islands, the offshore islands there, the Ogasawara Islands, and then off towards the north, possibly affecting the mainland in future too. We don't quite know yet, but as soon as we know, we'll let you know. Just in case you were wondering also, there are no warnings in effect anymore from these storms. There were warnings in effect for Guam and the other islands associated with the Mariana chain, but they have all been discontinued. Craig, are you there?
Yep.
What do you make of that?
Wow. Truly something.
Sorry?
Truly something.
Truly something. What do you think of the crazy, wacky model HWRF predicting a Category 5, 180 mile an hour plus for the best part of 4 days?
Oh, well,
I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, I've not been looking at the HWRF for an especially long time, only about 2 years, but I've never seen that.
Now, I don't want to insult anyone here, but does that sound like somebody that we know in the Force 13 team?
Who are you referring to?
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah,
I-
don't.
What did he say?
Hello,
Nothing.
Daniel.
Hello.
Crackling in. You're a cat, by the way.
Yeah. Hi. But still,
Yeah.
I could definitely see a very strong Cat 5 come out of
Well, you've got to think that it's going to be one of them, isn't it? If not both.
yeah. I prefer both, but I'd
Oh, of
be
course
happy with
you would
one.
prefer both of them.
But I think what you said in the chat room earlier, earlier on today, that
Yes.
Goni might peak at 175 plus for 4 days, which might happen. I could see it happening. Very, very small chance though, but 160 for Atsani seems fair. It seems fair.
Alright, excellent. There again is the latest look at tropics at a glance. If you've just joined us, Typhoon Atsani with winds of 75 miles an hour and a pressure of 974 millibars. Goni 90 miles an hour, 963. Tropical depression 11E also there, but is not likely to become a tropical storm anymore. It was predicted not so long ago. There's Invest 96L in the Atlantic also, winds of 30 miles an hour and a pressure of 10 millibars. That's intensified very slightly since the last update. It was at 25 and 10-11. There's a close-up of Atsani with the latest visible image. We'll update that in just a moment. Actually, we'll do it now. So we might see some more imagery coming in on those now that we've reloaded the page. Any questions in the last 25 minutes or so, please send in a message and we'll answer it. We'll try to answer it. And I think that is all. Anything in particular that you guys would like to pick up on at this time? Anything that may not exactly be associated with these storms? That you just
96L!
96.
No, I think we've covered that as most as we can, really. But
well, what we
think
haven't looked at yet is the models for 96L and the Atlantic. So let's do a bit of that because the CMC has something rather interesting for this, which we'll take a look at now. So here's the CMC first of all.
let me guess, is that predicting like a 192 mile an hour Cat 5?
No.
Well, we know what they're like. They normally, well, we know what they're like. We know that
It's gonna be
they're
one of
prone to
those
do that.
years, huh?
Can't quite see it on the screen here, but the CMC model predicts a significant hurricane forming and brushing the east coast of Hawaii, potentially as a hurricane. What you can see on the screen now is two systems in the Atlantic, possibly a tropical depression and a tropical storm there off the Cape Verde Islands. And then there's a third system that comes in behind it, and another system forming up here as well, to the northeast of the Bahamas, not too far from Bermuda. So there could potentially be 4 systems in the next 8 days, according to the CMC model. But the CMC is known for its aggression, so it may well be the case. It may be the case that none of these storms become anything.
Or one. Or one.
Or one. One at a
But
push.
take this model with a grain of salt, probably. That's probably the best.
2 grains of salt.
I think there was a link that Jason sent me that earlier on today.
This is something I haven't seen actually, first of all, Craig. The HWRF model on 96L.
Did you develop it?
I don't even think it has it developing.
Nothing at all, actually.
Or small little glimpses of it, but nothing else.
Very small glimpses. Doesn't look to be anything forming out of the HWRF, and that's usually another aggressive model, so somewhat of a surprise.
But the NHC said 50%. That's the highest they've ever given the Atlantic storm this season.
The Navy's NavGem model predict 2 tropical waves in the Atlantic, which could possibly become...
One very large.
They do usually put them rather large for some reason, the NavGem. We've not looked at GFS yet either, which is the last one we'll look at here.
The worst model.
No, the realistic model, John. Predicting 2 small tropical waves in the Atlantic there. Oh, I'm going to cycle through it again. Do they develop? Probably not. But before we count them out, we do have to say that the models can often be rather wrong. And what you can't see on the screen there, in fact I'll load it on an image so you can see it. Look to the far left there, you've got a significant storm, probably a hurricane, along the Hawaiian Islands there. Again, that's 2 models that predict a significant impact in Hawaii in the next 8 days or so. So Hawaiians, there may be some trouble brewing. Something to watch out for. John.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
I was zooming out.
You were zooming out?
Zoning out.
Oh good, you weren't zooming out, you were zoning out.
Sorry, I'm just tired.
Yeah, I think we all are, aren't we?
I didn't get much sleep last night. I didn't get much sleep at all.
Yes.
96L kept me awake. Because the Atlantic has been so dead.
Well,
when
hey,
96L hit the fan.
we've got plenty of things to watch in the West Pacific, haven't we?
Yeah.
And if we can get a close up on the eye of Atsani, which is really starting to look pretty decent now. As far as
I'm just gonna have a little.
Can I be absolutely candid for a minute?
Sorry, John. What?
Can I be absolutely candid for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
the Pacific has had a bit too much activity this year.
It doesn't
It's
like
typical.
sharing, does it?
No, it doesn't like sharing at all.
First of all, it was the South Indian, well, not the South Indian, but the Southern Hemisphere that was really not wanting to play ball and share until the West Pacific upped its game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
The Atlantic has fell flat
Okay.
in his face.
The first visible images look promising for Goni again. You can see
Yeah.
sort of that pinhole eye there.
Ooh,
I
is
wish
that a
we
change
had
of
this-
course?
Is it?
I wish.
Yep, so change of course. It just made a turn just towards the last frame.
Let's take a look at the floater imagery then.
I'll quickly screen share it. I've got it up. I'll screen share it.
Oh, you'll knock mine off.
I wish we had this good imagery. In the Atlantic.
Yes,
this is
me
it here.
too.
The last frame, you can see it takes a turn that way. Goes up, and it suddenly goes straight towards what looks like it goes straight towards the Taiwan. Near enough taking the same route as Sodalar. Near enough. I'm not sure if you'd agree with that, but
I couldn't say. I was on holiday during Sudalorp.
well,
I was far, far away.
Sodalar put us through the ringer, didn't it, John?
Every time I go on vacation, something bad happens. In 2012, I went on vacation and Sandy happened. In 2014, Ita happened, even though it probably wasn't as much of an international news headline, but it was a Cat 5, and it hit Australia.
What about
near that intensity.
Noah?
And then I go on vacation again and miss Sudalore.
Which was the 108 miles per hour.
And the strongest storm since last
Wong Fong.
winter. No, since Hagapit.
Was it?
Hagapit
I thought it was Wong Fong. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
180.
Yeah. Ignore me.
But
me.
in terms of air pressure, I know the Japan Meteorological Agency said 900 millibars, but I was looking at one of the RAM minimum sea level surface pressure, whatever it was.
We have a question.
Well, just a moment, John. And it said that Sudalore possibly went down as far as 884 millibars.
Jesus.
John, go ahead.
Someone in the video chat asked, "What is a millibar?"
It's a
Because
unit of
of that.
measurement. It's to measure the air pressure in a storm. I guess you can. How is it? It's another. I mean, some people use millibars, and
Some people use inches of mercury.
that's right. Inches of mercury is the other one. I'm just trying to,
I'll answer it in
because
column.
there's two ways of displaying the millibar thing, because it's also hectopascals as well. That's what it is.
Yeah.
HPA. But it is
I've heard that.
they are interchangeable essentially. They're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Despite the
Oh,
different
well,
names.
somebody in the YouTube chat has a question. What is a millibar?
Craig, we've just had
Well,
that.
that's. Oh, damn
Have
it.
you plugged your ears in, Craig?
Yes, I have.
Are you sure?
Longed. Yes.
I'm handling it.
Are you on a blooper a day thing here, Craig?
I might be, but never mind.
Fantastic.
Never mind.
Nah, not minibar.
If you've just joined us, Goni is expected to become a super typhoon in the next 48 hours. Those of you who haven't seen it, these are what the forecast track maps look like. You can see Goni there, expected to become a 150 mile per hour Category 4 super typhoon, and is expected to draw close to Taiwan as a significant storm. If you saw the HWRF model earlier, that was amazing, predicting a 185 mile per hour peak or thereabouts, and to sustain its intensity of 175 miles an hour or higher all the way through the Taiwan Strait into the South China Sea. On approach to China, it would still be a Category 4 typhoon. Remarkable.
Nathan, just one question. What's average atmospheric pressure on Earth? Just
Sorry, what was that?
what's average atmospheric pressure on Earth?
As far as I know, it's around 1013. What's on the screen share there? Is that Atsani? No, it was.
Yeah, this is Atsani. The eye definitely becoming more and more clear. I think it might even be a category 2 by
You think so?
by the time there. Yeah. Thunderstorm activity is increasing. You see there, just 2 more just popped up. Or maybe there's two the same one. Who knows?
There was
The
some
eye
thunderstorm
will...
activity popping up on the northwestern quadrant of the storm.
I think that's it. I don't know.
You
Who
can
knows?
see it much more clearly on the Himawari imagery. I'll get
Yeah.
that back up again shortly. I'm just taking a look at see if there's anything that Japan is saying right now. Yeah, they say that Goni right now is at 90 miles an hour, which is an agreement with the JTWC. 965 millibars, very close to the 963 that JTWC is saying. At Sani, they're saying that at the moment is at 85 miles per hour, as far as I can tell, and a pressure of 975 millibars. So both Category 1 storms, by all accounts, and both expected to intensify. Let me just see what the the JMA are saying about potential peak intensities. For Goni, they say 130 miles an hour in the next 3 days. For Atsani, they're saying actually the same, 130 miles an hour for both storms 3 days from now.
Can I quickly go back to that low pressure in the Atlantic? Not 96L, but that low pressure system over. Well, I think it's. I'll put it near Cuba, really. That low pressure system. It's looking very interesting. Oh, I did have a look of it. Damn it. Never mind. I think I'll just put it up in there. Don't know why I've still got Mimic up.
Just where exactly is your point of interest, Craig?
Hang on, I'll just get the satellite imagery up. Alright. Give me a minute.
Well, I've got the water vapour image up for the Atlantic. It does show some storminess going on near the Dominican Republic and over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Is that the area you're talking about, or is it somewhere else?
Is it looking like a... Yeah, I'll definitely do a screen share just to clarify it. It's that very large area which you think you've just pointed out, which that's it.
Yeah,
this
said that earlier on in the show.
Here,
I do wonder whether that may well become anything. Let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center's website and see if there's any news on the Atlantic system. They're still saying 50% in the next 48 hours and 60% in the next 5 days. And that is the only thing they predict to become anything or have a chance to become anything in the next 5 days.
Yeah. It's certainly something. Well, 11E looking a little bit better, but not looking really impressive like previous storms we've seen in the past. But then there's this interesting system up here, and I think that might be Hilda down here. What's left of it. I don't know what you'd say there, Nathan.
Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Oh. I'll just repeat that.
That area north of Hawaii there.
Yeah. And then I think this is Hilda down here. Well, what's left of her?
There's nothing left of her, quite simply.
But I think this might be her here. She might be regenerating, I do not know.
Well, I do wonder whether it or something near it may well develop into something later on.
Yeah.
Because the models that they're saying, they're predicting things. I know it's the CMC constantly making cyclones and all that, but it's predicting I think it was predicting a Central Pacific storm moving across the international dateline at one point. More than one model. The GFS is predicting almost an Iniki situation, though albeit weaker, striking Hawaii. The CMC is predicting a significant hurricane to brush the eastern coast of the big island of Hawaii. So that's 2 models on board. So that could be a significant thing to watch out for in the next few days. But obviously we've not seen anything that we're picking up on yet to actually say with any certainty whether Hawaii is in trouble. John?
Oh, yeah. I'm also as while we're doing this live stream, I'm also answering comments in the chat.
I've noticed.
So yeah, just so it's legit. What who's claiming to be John in the comments is me. It's legit. Just telling you, alright? So because not everyone's real on the internet. Oh god, I got to deal with something. I'll be right back.
Well, that was John. That was abrupt, wasn't it, Craig? We lost Craig as well?
I'm still here, I'm just muted.
Ah.
I wonder if Daniel's still here. He's been sitting awfully quiet.
Daniel probably fell asleep.
Oh.
Nope,
Hello?
he's not. He's
No, he's not.
here. Yes, Daniel, hello.
Hello.
Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
No, not really.
Oh.
I haven't had much to say, which is why I've been quiet.
Well, if anyone's got a question for Daniel, please let us know.
Or any of us.
Yeah, or anyway, we're looking out for your questions.
Yes.
We're just looking at the latest floater images of the storms at hand, and I'm not sure if there's any other imagery we could show at this point. Craig, you had some microwave imagery up earlier on before we did the show. Is that showing anything revealing at all?
Well,
Microwave.
Yeah, I'll show you it, Daniel. I'm quite happy.
For
Oh,
those
well,
who
see, it was on my iPod.
yeah, those who are not aware with microwave imagery, it's not a ready meal.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. This is it here. It's relatively simple.
Okay. On the Sims
This is-
website.
Yeah. Which have been useless in the last couple of days. Literally, they have been.
Well, we're not going to get any backing from Sims now, thanks, Craig.
Well, we have been now. Thank God. This is showing the continuous intensification of Goni.
Yeah.
Currently, I think this is covering a 24-hour period, which is what I clicked on anyway. I hope so. This is only going up to 69 knots, I think. It's going beyond that. It's going up 70, 77, possibly even 80 now.
I think we're on a bit of a delay there. Oh, yes.
I had to
There it
change
is.
locale.
Welcome back, John.
I had to change
Hello?
locale.
Cool.
Oh, and possibly even a double eye wall forming
You
here.
think so?
Yeah, just in the microwave imagery. And it's not a good one if you microwave it, as you'd always say, Naomi.
I just
No sarcasm. And I'll just quickly have a quick look at Atsani. There's no point in looking at tropical depression 11 because it's useless.
That's Craig's opinion.
Yes.
We don't condone that opinion.
This is. Oh, hang on a minute.
Pardon me, by the way. Well, that was Craig. I'd just like to show you the latest Himawari imagery. You can see the eye continuing, in my opinion, to look better on Atsani right now. Thunderstorms developing on the western side of the eye wall there. It is looking a bit bare to the northwest, but I guess that's something that will sort itself out soon enough. And further west, there's the developing beast that is Goni with its pinhole eye feature.
Will
models.
be expanding anytime soon.
Ooh. Patients should show us model tracks.
Yes, please screen share it if you can.
There you
I'm
go.
sharing.
I have a case of too many tabs.
Oh dear, that's my life in a nutshell.
There we go.
Latest floater imagery on, latest visible floater imagery on Goni, but we have the models there. Some more models.
Those are model tracks.
Guidance, showing.
Numbers are in hours.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the Navgem was the one I was looking at, I think, which took the storm right near the coast of the Philippines, and then it sort of has a change of heart and decided not to make landfall on Luzon, a la Meggy perhaps, and then moves off towards the north.
But what about
the northeast?
Noel?
Noel began right down there.
Oh.
It's more of an analog to Meggy because Meggy was sort of westward moving the whole time, but Noel came from the south, like most storms do, admittedly. But you look at the GFS model there, I think it is in red, and the one in orange, GEFS, both taking the storm very, very close to the Taiwanese coast, but not quite making a landfall. I don't know whether that's good or bad, to be honest, because at least when a storm makes landfall it weakens immediately, but if it doesn't and stays over water, then it might just stay strong for longer.
And also GFS says it goes to Japan, while the GEFS is going towards Korea.
Yeah, it's towards South Korea there. And the GEM model there as well keeps it low in latitude, I suppose you could say, and
Same
doesn't
thing
affect
with the
anywhere in particular.
Same with the Navgem.
Well, the Navgem appears to have it aiming more towards the Ryukyu Islands and possibly Okinawa further down the line than 10 days or whatever it is. Oh, it only goes up to 168, does it? 7 days that would be. So again, there's the models. Any intensity models on there?
This is just what
Come back to
Jason
that.
shared us. I want to stop sharing.
We'll come back to that in a moment. Just loading the latest imagery from the Himawari satellite. See if there's anything we can see on. Well, you can I mean, if you didn't know better right now and you were looking at the latest image on Goni, let me just get it up on screen share for you guys again, John and Craig. Because you sort of need to see this. If you didn't know better, you'd think this storm is much stronger than what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely looks more intense than it actually is. I mean, that pinhole eye feature is definitely something that I would. Oh, Craig says it looks Cat 4, but sadly I'm going to have to disagree with that because, this looks like this storm is beginning to get its act together. It doesn't look Cat 4 quite yet.
Key to the word beginning.
Yeah, beginning, exactly. I mean, it has that tight pinhole eye, which is a very common feature of very rapidly intensifying storms, to my knowledge. Roma had a pinhole eye. Katrina had a pinhole eye.
Did it?
Ike had a pinhole eye. Yeah, it did for a little while while it was intensifying. It went through an eye wall replacement cycle.
Ah.
That's why the eye. If you look up Hurricane Katrina imagery, you see the eye is a lot bigger than you thought it would be. The eye is a lot bigger because it's post eye wall replacement cycle.
Yes, of course, that happens quite often with really intense storms. Obviously I wasn't really here to see it. Did Sudalore have that period?
Yeah, I had a brief. I think it had an eye wall replacement cycle. Let me pull up some imagery of Sudalore, see if that did. So if you excuse me for a few minutes while I do that.
Well, hurry, John. We've only got 5 minutes left.
Run, Forrest, run!
Looking at your comments, Marcel250 says, hello, I'm from Colombia. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope everyone else is as well. Hope we're doing a good job, or a decent job. It is our first ever broadcast on this new format, so it isn't completely streamlined, I suppose you could say, but I hope we're doing well. Daniel?
Hello?
Hello! Welcome back. Do you want to show us your face at all?
I can't do because I'm on my iPod at the moment.
So we have to assume that you're a cat?
It's still a cat.
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
I thought it changed.
No, it's still a
This
cat.
might be.
Must have been
This might
it must be
be,
delayed.
Here we go.
Quite significantly.
Yeah, I'm still a cat.
This is called Scout thinks he can run away.
Yeah, I'm still a cat.
Yes, you're still a cat.
Meow. Yeah.
Injury of Pseudo-War.
Oh, I see. Ah, Force 13 video. Good choice.
Haha. Good choice, is right. Okay, let's see if we can scroll through and find.
Yeah, it seems a bit silly me asking that question since I did the satellite imagery, but I just gather them and don't really look at them. And that's after peak there, isn't it?
I'm just trying to peek is here.
The quality looks terrible. No, earlier than that. Earlier than that.
Oh my god.
Around the 1 minute mark, I'd say. Oh,
If you
there.
look closely,
Yes.
if you look closely, you can definitely see the eye wall replacement cycle happening.
And I think it's just about to happen, isn't it? There it is.
There it
Just
is.
as the visible imagery is ending, the old eye gets swallowed up and a new one arrives, and Pseudolore arrives. And look at that. Crazy
That's beautiful.
intensity.
That's a beautiful eye on this Typhoon.
Alright.
What's up, Hurricane?
Well, before we finish, those of you who have just joined us, let me just rattle through the latest information. Typhoon Atsani is a 75-mile-an-hour typhoon, 974 millibars, position 14.4 degrees north, 159.4 degrees east. Typhoon Goni, 90 miles an hour, 963 millibars, but getting stronger. May well be a Category 2 storm already. 16 degrees north, 142.7 degrees east. Neither of those storms affecting land, even though Guam got very wet from Goni the other day. Tropical Depression 11E is possibly on its way out without getting named. Winds of 35 miles an hour and a pressure of 1003 millibars, and unchanged from 6 hours ago. 18.9 degrees north, 116.6 degrees west. Further east in the Atlantic, we finally have an invest again. 96L, winds of 30 miles an hour, pressure 1010 millibars, a 60% chance of cyclone genesis in the next 5 days, 50% in the next 48 hours. And you can see the breaking news bar at the bottom there, which is not so much breaking anymore, but is still news. Goni expected to become a super typhoon in the next 48 hours. And there's an image of Atsani as well, which is expected to move towards the northwest. Latest imagery shows the storms there. Nothing else going on in the West Pac. In the Atlantic, you can also see another system possibly near the Dominican Republic, but has not been recognised as an invest. Storm totals for this year so far: 53 tropical storms, 29 hurricanes, 18 Category 3 majors, and 7 Cat 5s. Craig?
Yep.
Anything you'd like to say before we finish?
Yep.
No?
Yep.
Very short and sweet from Craig. John? Or Daniel?
Just like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. You're just waiting for bed, aren't you?
I'm already in it.
Well, we're waiting for sleep then, aren't you?
I guess.
Yes. John, thanks for joining us this evening. Any late questions that were put on the comments box, I'll answer them in text in just a moment after we go off air. But thanks for watching, everyone. And that's it until tomorrow, probably, when we'll be going live again at a similar time, though I think we'll be going a little bit earlier tomorrow. Probably around 6 or 7 p.m. UTC. Don't miss it. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye. Toodle pip.
Typhoon tip.
Get that in.